This is Distance from Center. I'm sitting on my dock, and that is Trent. Where are you?
Pensacola, Florida.
What are you doing in Pensacola?
Coaching I got Sean Krause, Evan Krause, both skiing. One in the junior worlds, one in the under 21 worlds, and a few other kids. Just getting ready. Last minute training on the site before it goes down, starting on this Sunday.
Okay, we'll talk more about Junior Worlds in just a minute.
We will.
First, last weekend, U.S. Open, there's something like $81,000 in prize money. Maybe that even got updated and up since last I heard. But major event, second biggest cash event of the year, I believe, after Masters. Big deal, great for the pros.
Great for the sport. Great for the sport. To interject.
Yeah.
I've mentioned before, but I feel like, Jeff Surday's done a lot of amazing things, and I feel like this is the most important thing to happen to USA water skiing in 15 years. I think it's very, very important. We have this incredible grassroots in place, and now to bring the pros back in front of the skiing masses, not just tucking them away on hidden weekends on hidden lakes. This was in conjunction with the U.S. Nationals. I thought incredibly successful and incredibly important.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge fan. I wish I was there. It didn't make sense for me. I guess you weren't there either.
I was there.
Or you were there. You were there. So here's my internal struggle. This is, to be perfectly blunt, I feel like a dick about this. When we sit down and we watch the webcast for Moomba, we know the conditions are going to be wacky, and so we've adjusted our expectations of performances. And same with the U.S. Masters. And watching men's and women's slalom at U.S. Open, the scores were decent. We got to the finals. We got to 4.5 at 41 twice. But the cut at 2 and a lot of guys like literally missing their opener. I understand the conditions were challenging, but it's hard for me to be like, that was awesome. Because I really wanted to see the cut be at 3.5 at 41.
Yeah, but I think you said it perfect. Like if this, whatever the quality of the site can sort of facilitate, and again,
right.
Prelims for men's slalom, it was the first half of the field. So remember, like prelims was actually just they took the open men of the U.S. Nationals and they just added in all the other internationals who were there for the U.S. Open. And the first half, it was, for the average person, you would say literally unskiable.
Oh yeah.
And in that group, like we had Brian Detrick ran 1.5 at 41 in conditions that I know a lot of talented skiers would not have run an opener, and that's really how it was.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about that Detrick thing, because that to me is maybe the highlight of the whole tournament. So there was a strong, was it tailwind off the dock or headwind off the dock?
Headwind off the dock.
It was headwind off the dock, so he went off at, you tell me.
35. No. 32. He went.
He goes off at 32.
32 head, 35 vicious tailwind, 39 vicious headwind.
Which was an insane gamble, right? He'd done it before at a major pro event, I think actually at the same site. But he was risking everything going from 35 to 39 and watching, and I was like, oh, Detrick, I love you, man, but this isn't going to work.
It was fabulous.
And he ran it. It was amazing.
It was amazing. And it wasn't great for anyone, but don't confuse Detrick's conditions with the last 10 skiers, because they were right. Night and day. It was still challenging, don't get me wrong, but when Brian skied, it was as bad or worse than it was for anybody, and then after him it slowly got better, never getting very good again, but when he skied it was scary bad.
Right. So maybe the travesty of the event is that Detrick actually was 6th in the prelims and did make it to the finals, even with that unbelievably heroic tailwind 39.
Yeah.
Just shows people forget about Detrick, but he is a really legit slalom skier.
Oh, he's incredible. No, you just put him right there with, Cale Burdick. Like he's just
right.
It's easy to forget him on, but he's a sneaky 3 at 41 almost any day, and evidenced by Detrick skiing that well in that bad of conditions. It was amazing. And the cool thing was guys that made the cut, guys that didn't make the cut. That in that tight circle of skiers, his name kept coming up. Like, wow, like a lot of people were congratulating him. And I don't think Brian thought it was a travesty event. I think like that's what these guys sign up for. They're the best on the planet. And I know there was no sour grapes on changing conditions or how difficult it was for some of them.
Right. The other big news out of the prelims was that preposterous, astounding, maybe unnecessary but entertaining massive crash by Adam Caldwell, where apparently he cracked a number of ribs even. Didn't get any more buoys, but I've never seen a slalom skier come off the water quite that far.
Yeah, I'd have to dig deep to try and remember anything that out there. But and then in keeping with that though, I thought this was a cut that went from probably 30 down to 5. Like so it was a
22
all the way down to 5. So it was a very difficult cut. And I thought I think for me what was the highlight of the whole deal was that that both Adam Caldwell and Cale Burdick both made that cut. Because I mean this is
right.
This is not the America's Cup. This is the U.S. Open. This is all of the best skiers on the planet. Robert Pigozzi and De Gasperi and Will, and I mean everybody was there. And these two guys made the cut, which I thought. I mean, obviously both incredible skiers of the best in the world, but a 22-5 one round shot at it, and those guys making the final, I thought was wildly impressive.
So last thing on the final. So Smith was first with 4.5 at 41. Mm-hmm. But then second through fifth was all 2 at 41. They're all tied 2 at 41. Fred Winter, T-Gas, Caldwell, Burdick.
Yes,
so
really tight. The cut into the final, yes. Yeah.
Right. Really, really tight going in. And then we get to the finals, and only 2 guys ran 39.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting.
So again,
because then the conditions were very, very, very good. So it's just whatever it was on that day, whatever people weren't syncing up, or maybe the site is just difficult to slalom on. I don't know. I've never skied there.
It is.
But it was yes, it was interesting. De Gasperi's 39 was actually quite nice, and he came around 6-ball without any kind of real concern. Misgripped. Or missed the handle altogether, and when the rope came tight through the gates, it just pulled it out of his hand. That was a dagger for him, but it was it was an interesting final. And I just think that's what's kind of cool though is that's pro skiing, and from my perspective, it didn't draw from the event at all. Whether they're stacked up at 4 at 41 or stacked up at 2 at 41, it doesn't make much difference, from a spectator's standpoint. But I get it, surprising, yes.
Okay. All right. So let's wrap men's slalom by saying Smith won 4.5 41. Mm-hmm. Fred 1 at 41, and then De Gasperi with that 5.5. Which I mean, De Gasperi is so consistent that was kind of shocking.
Yes, it was.
And then Caldwell and Burdick rounding out the top 5.
Yep.
Women's slalom. It's kind of hard to watch these without Regina, but Jamie Bull kind of had a rough prelims, and then came through, and I'm kind of blowing through women's slalom. Stop me if you have more to say. The girls didn't really ski awesome, but Whitney kind of coming back after pregnancy, and I mean she's a couple-time world champion. She's not to be underrated, right? So Whitney comes in and takes first. Yeah. Jamie Bull second. Allie Nicholson third. Brooke Baldwin and Vanessa Veek 4th and 5th.
Yeah. And it was good though.
Well fought field.
Yeah. I mean, it was still really good skiing. It was a mid-39 for Whitney, and again, in obviously, in a scenario or on a site where it certainly was not easy. I mean, and like you said, it was actually on the prelims was on her son's first birthday, so she's
that is cool.
Relatively fresh back on the water. So it was exciting. It was surprising to see some of the scores, but it wasn't for a lack of battle. I mean, to be there in person, it was incredible.
All right. So moving on, not everybody knows, but I'm really a recovering 3-eventer and love the trick and jump stuff. Mm-hmm. Women's jump prelim. Kind of amazing. Top 3 places, Hannah Lauren and all these names kill me. Gianna, all jumped, all tied at 174 feet, and they had to go to the metric to get the placements.
Yeah.
And then still really solid, Taryn Grant 163, Brooke Baldwin 163. So, excuse me, 158. I'm sorry, on Brooke Baldwin. So, I mean, that women's event, I mean, those three girls tied going into the finals, that to me is just awesome. That not only are those distances big, but that competition is fiery.
Yeah. No, it was incredibly exciting. And then on the guys' side for me,
hold on, women's first.
Oh, let's do prelims though. I was, prelims.
Okay.
On the guys' side for the prelims, we're just talking about outstanding moments. For me, it was Scott Ellis 219. It was, I mean, insane. To make a 5-person final. I mean, I know he's talked about not skiing, and I mean, I'm not sure how old he is. But he's probably, 53, 54. Right?
No, he's a couple years younger than me, I think.
Is he? He must be 50. Though.
I think he's like 50. He's 50. Yeah, but so let's be clear. Let's be clear for the folks at home. So that 219 was the cut for the event. So not only is Scott not 23 anymore, but I mean, I don't. Tony Leifert was saying on the webcast that this might be the highest average prelim ever. Like never have we had. You had to get all the way down to 10th place to get a jump under 200 feet, and that was 199. I mean, these guys, these prelims, they were banging it out. And you go to the top of the field. Fred jumped 232, which, the record is 250 something. But I mean, those, any jump over 230 is still okay. Thank you.
Crazy.
Is still rarefied air. I mean, you never see jumps of 240. So Fred going 232. That's him turning the wick all the way up. And then Taylor Garcia in the prelims 220. Dorian Llewellyn, who I'm so guilty of forgetting how good a jumper he is, jumps 226. It was a huge prelim. It was fantastic.
It was unreal, unbelievable. And again, like just to see so you have these, this top 5 was bookended by, we say 50-year-old Scott Ellis and 45-year-old Freddie Krueger. So I'm just like, wow.
No, Fred's over 45.
Oh, yeah.
He's not 50.
I'm being conservative,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so that brings us to women's final. Is it Gianna? Is that right?
Yep.
Bonneman? Okay. She takes third with 160. Lauren Morgan, who's been banging around at it for years and is fantastic at 167. Yeah. And Hannah, whose name I will not even attempt, 171.
Yeah. In the dark, mind.
In the dark.
Not dusk.
And dark. I love that when night jump is real night jump, not this dusky jump thing, which is You were there for men's jump final. You wanna babble, or you want me to babble?
No, I want you to babble.
All right, so Dorian Llewellyn again goes out and bangs it 221 in the dark, no kidding around. Taylor Garcia 223. By the way, for folks on the webcast, the electricity went down, so we didn't get to see this. We had to go back and see it the next morning. And then the Fred goes out and jumps 229, which is just staggering. And
it's exciting too because he just did his Freddie 1 jump, and it's unreal that this far into his career how he just refuses to lose a step. He's not hanging on. He's still pushing and he's still when Ryan's not there, he does seem to be in a league of his own at the moment.
Right, for sure. And, I was really pleased to see him take a second jump. He's kind of known sometimes for going to a tournament, bang out one huge jump and waving the crowd and going back.
That's what I would do.
Well, right. I mean, I don't think they ever, none of those guys like hanging it out when they don't have to. But he went out and second jump, I don't have it, but it was like same distance. So he took 2 big jumps.
Yeah. Crazy exciting. And it's still on YouTube. If you guys didn't get to see the US Open.
Oh, yeah.
You go watch it, the whole thing from all 3 events. The whole thing is worth watching over.
So women's tricks really quick. Gianna Bonneman tricked 10-180 in the prelims and in the final. Both are pending European women's trick records. you know, 10-180. That's a big score. Otherwise, really solid. The other score over 10,000 is Anna Gay. No surprise. Really strong tricks. Finals ends up being Gianna Neely Ross, Brooke Baldwin third, which brings me to my favorite moment of the tournament. Men's tricks. I know. You think I'm a slalom skier.
Yep.
Whatever happened in the whole event, Jake Abelson. My God, this kid comes out and you look at him on the video and he's like, oh, this is a cute kid. And then he puts his trick ski on and he tricks 10-5-10 in the prelims and 11-1-10 in the finals. He's 13 years old. Now, 18-year-old Pat O'Font beats him by 500-600 points in the final. But the kid's 13. You know, the last time one of the best trick skiers in the world was 13 years old was Corey Pickus.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was, I don't know, 1975 maybe?
Yeah.
Now, and so not only did he come up just short of Pat O'Font, but you got to look at who else was in the field. Martin Coleman, great. Josh Bryant, back from a lot of a number of years off because of a catastrophic injury a number of years ago. But also ahead of Alexei Zarnicek, who I've heard it speculated that he's actually won more elite events than any other athlete in the history of the sport. And I'd have to see the lineup between him and Fred and Andy Mapple.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, all time, he's probably already in the Trick Skiing Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And, you know,
exactly.
13-year-old Jake Abelson just comes through and just, looks effortless.
As cool as can be, too.
He might train 10 hours a day. I don't know. But he looks like he rolled out of bed, put his trick ski on, and tricked 11,000 points. It's just amazing. I've met his dad a couple times. I've met him a couple of times. I don't know them, but I am like a super fan.
Yeah, no, kid's absolutely incredible, and it's and he's like he's like Joel Poland also in that the stuff that he can do on a ski outside of the the typical arena and outside of the typical constraints is mind blowing too. It's not right.
All right, so we are way over time, so I'm gonna plow through Hilltop Pro-Am, which is this Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We have a full field of men's and women's open.
It is.
I'm just gonna say, look, Jamie's there, Manon's there, who wasn't there at the U.S. Open. Whitney's there, Allie, Chelsea, Vanessa, all the women are there. The men's field looks really good. Nate, Fred, Will, Travers, Pigozzi, they're all there. I think we're gonna lose one or two guys to COVID. I kind of heard somebody had COVID at U.S. Open, and there might be things we might miss one or two skiers that are home hibernating.
Yeah.
But this event this weekend is going to be awesome.
And you know what the cool thing is for water ski nerds, like myself and you, John, is this is going to be the first time that the Water Ski Broadcasting Company is covering two
events.
different events at the same time on literally opposite ends of the country. So Pensacola for the Junior Worlds, and then subsequently the Under 21 Worlds, and then up in north of Seattle at the exact same time. So the coverage for Hilltop starting on Saturday, the coverage for the Junior Worlds first starting on Sunday, and there will be overlap. So you're going to be able to watch. You're going to be able to like channel surf water skiing if that's what you want to do.
You know, how many years ago when Tony Lightfoot started this thing, and, you know, it's like anything at the beginning, it was not nearly as shiny as it is now. Did we think he'd get to the point there'd be demand for two events the same weekend? I mean, hats off to the Stadelbauers and to Tony, and they're just crushing it.
Kelvin Kelm, huge congratulations. These guys are killing it. So enjoy this weekend. We're going to cover both these events next week when, after they conclude.
Okay, so tell me, give me a little bit of preview of the Worlds.
Well, I mean, it's at Corey, so the conditions are going to be absolutely ideal. The forecast looks great after this big system blew through. So, I mean, the level of skiing on both the under 17s and under 21s is amazing. So, we're going to cover the results, but it's going to be good skiing for sure because, the site's amazing and the forecast looks perfect.
Okay, so here's my surprise comment for the show. I am under the impression that skiers who were qualified for the under 17s, the last one that was canceled, if they were qualified last time around and they've aged out,
Yes.
so they're now 18, and they're qualified for the under 21s, will be allowed to ski in both events.
True.
Is that the right decision? Should the under 17s should the under 17s have to ski against kids that are now a year older?
That's a bit of a hot topic. So, in like my personal opinion, I think it should be the age you are at the time of the event, not at the time when the event was canceled. But I mean,
Right.
where you can argue this one, I could be convinced of the other way too. That's just my gut instinct. Is shouldn't be how old you were. It should be how old you are. But again, we're in. I mean, are we not in unprecedented times? So
we are, and it's easy to criticize from afar.
Yeah, everyone's
right?
doing their best. So it is what it is, and everyone knows what it is. But it's going to be it's going to be good. There's going to be some amazing skiing.
All right, well, I'm going to go take a ski ride. You can't see this right now, but the boat's right behind me,
nice.
and my ski's actually in the boat. And you go coach some kids, and we'll talk to everybody about these events after they're done.
Yep, enjoy the viewing this weekend.